Coming up on the programme this evening, 8 years after the Met said it was troubled by the findings and would be reviewing cases. Also ahead this evening, after being told his heart. A very warm welcome. I'm Samantha Simmonds. First tonight, a warning that the Metropolitan Police may be failing to identify serial killers in the capital by not fully investigating unexplained deaths. The police watchdog reviewed the force's investigation into Stephen Port, who murdered 4 young gay men at his home in East London between 2014 and 2015. The killings weren't seen as suspicious by the police until the final death. And now the Met have been told history could still repeat itself. Our Home Affairs correspondent Sonja Jessop reports.
4 lives stolen.
A report that is difficult reading for the Met.
Yeah, that's right. Now, much of the recent criticism of the Met has focused on culture, hasn't it? But this is a report that looks at failings in basic policing, and it shows the dual challenge that the Commissioner is under, trying to get rid of corrupt officers while at the same time trying to sort out those problems in frontline policing, make sure that officers have the training and resources they need to fight crime. But the families of Port victims, they've released a joint statement through their solicitor, and they've said it's become abundantly clear the force cannot be trusted to make the changes itself. They want the government to step in and oversee that change. Mandy Whitworth, who we heard from there, she told me change starts with accountability. She wants to see action taken against the officers who let the families down. Now, that's the subject now of another investigation, a re-investigation by the police watchdog, the IOPC. OK,
Sonja, thank you. Now, Great Ormond Street Hospital had to declare what's called a business continuity incident for the first time in its history over fears it couldn't deliver safe care for its patients during this weekend's nurses' strike. The Children's Hospital was worried over staffing levels in its intensive and critical care units. It had already cancelled some operations and procedures before a breakthrough this afternoon, which could see more nurses return to the wards. Our health correspondent Carl Mercer reports. 2 teenagers who killed an elderly woman by stuffing a lit firework through her letterbox have today been given prison sentences. Josephine Smith, who was 88 years old, was asleep in bed when the firework exploded and set her home on fire in October 2021. Her family are now calling for tighter regulations around the sale of fireworks. Now, in less than a week, it is the local elections. And while there aren't any elections here in the capital itself, most areas around London will have voters deciding on who runs their council. This week, we've been hearing about some of the key contests. Today, it's in Thurrock on the council's website. The address is on the bottom of your screen right now. Still to come this evening. This weekend will see major changes to central London bus routes. Transport for London say they need to balance the budget. Well, broadcaster and self-confessed bus lover Ed Adu is one passenger affected by the changes. He's been a regular on the number 16 since he was at school. Well, he's been looking at why the changes are being introduced and just what impact they'll have.
Hi, I'm Ed. I love buses. I've always loved buses. The number
I do that. Now, next week marks 55 years since the first heart transplant in the UK was carried out here in the capital in 1968. The latest NHS figures show that 274 adults in the UK are currently in need of a transplant. Receiving the news you might need one can be very distressing. It's something one of our journalists, Chris Slegg, found out when he was... So first of all, explain about your condition in the first place.
Yeah, hi Samantha. I was born with a rare condition called... It looked like I would need a heart transplant within a year. Now, that was a huge shock to me. It had never been. Treatment itself isn't new, but it's very unusually done in adults, certainly at my stage, called the Glenn procedure. Now, that is often done on babies at the same time they have their valve repaired, if they have Ebstein's or not, my condition, but it's rarely done used in others as well, to hopefully avert the need for a transplant, as explained here by one of the team at St Thomas's, cardiologist, Dr. Douglas.
Our viewers will know that you're often out and about, and we talk to you here in the studio, you know, football matches and all over the place. So you are managing to work on...
Very many people out there who live with invisible impairments, because it's only really, I hope, that the learnings from the Glenn procedure on me...
Well, thank you very much to you. Thank you. And you can read Chris's full story on our website. Just head to bbc.co.uk/London. Next, they're the Camden three-piece who formed at school as teenagers, and now N-Dubs are back with new music and a new tour. They've been speaking to Alice van der Kravy. First, let's hear a clip of their new single. Weather is shaping up for the bank holiday weekend. Thomas is here to tell us, and we've all got our fingers crossed.
Yeah, Samantha, it's looking pretty good, actually. Not the whole...
Thomas, thank you. Just before we go, a reminder of the day's top story. The BBC chairman, Richard Sharp, is resigning. It comes after a report concluded that his failure to disclose his role in assisting the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson with his finances gave rise to a potentially perceived conflict of interest. That's it from me. Asad will be back at 10:30. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.